What's up? How you doing? Here we are, Monday evening. Beautiful evening. That's it. Beautiful evening. So I'm gonna make some evening tea. Have a brand new box of English breakfast. Open it up. Smells the best when it's first opened. Mama's boy. Going home to the basement. Relax with his mom. Okay. So we open it up. Well, this one is sealed, double sealed. Comes in bags. Anyway, alright, so I finished my Lipton. This morning I had my last Lipton tea bag, so put it there. It's not plugged. That's the problem. Alright, you can't fool these machines. They won't work without the power. So, tune it up. Alright, so Lufkin, that's the measure I always use, but now I got another one, and it looks similar, except it's thinner but longer, and it's called Rock Steel. This one has the millimeters on this side, millimeters one side, inches on the other side. And it goes up to 79 inches. So I like it. I think I like both, but this one is pretty cool. You know, it's thinner and it has more length. Although there is a Lufkin one where you can go longer than the 6 feet. I have an 8-foot one, which I have. Like measuring things. You know, you can't sleep at night. You got insomnia, you get up, you get one of these things, and you walk around your neighborhood measuring things, fire hydrants, length of cars, cornerstones, just different things. And by the time you do that, you know, you get sleepy. Highly recommend doing that. Anyway, have a cup here. Gonna make some tea, water's heating up. And I have an album. John Cougar Mellencamp. He no longer goes by the Cougar. The Scarecrow album. I love this album. When it came out, it was so popular, and that's when all that farm stuff was going on. Not that it's not going on now, but back then it was getting a lot of attention with Farm Aid. Willie Nelson was there. Billy Joel did Only the Good Die Young. Had that nice suit jacket on that he wore. He wore the same one on the Greatest Hits 1 and 2 volume. So this is a great album. It has been remixed and remastered. So I mean, I have the CD already, the remixed, remastered version, and it's much better than the original. If you listen to Scarecrow, right on the Scarecrow, which is the official title, you will notice that the drums and the bass is much more aggressive than the original, which I like. And this is made in the Czech Republic, imported. But yeah, I'm a fan of his stuff. I like his material. John Mellencamp. Alright, that looks done. Thing's amazing. It's so fast. Very nice night. This is the kind of night where you want to get a couple of guys in the band and do a cappella. You know, those old Italian movies where they would get the guys from the neighborhood and they would do a cappella and everybody would open up their windows and listen. Kind of reminds me of the Innocent Man, an Innocent Man album by Billy Joel that came out in 1983. There's a song on there that most people don't know about, and it's called This Night. I love that song. It was released as a single, it just didn't go up the charts, but it's an awesome song. And I saw him one time, I saw him many times, but this particular time that I'm speaking of right now, he ended the concert with that song, and it was such a cool send-off. You know, This Night. Just, I've always, from the first time I heard that song, I loved it. Great tune, great lyrics, and you could feel the emotion. You could feel the emotion of that song. But I remember I went to see him, that was during the Bridge tour, and he closed the night, after the third encore, he closed the night with This Night, the song This Night. Awesome. Great vocals on that. Thing that I don't like that he does, he craps on himself figuratively. You know, it's like, oh, that song sucked, that song, the stuff that he has done, you know, oh, the vocal was horrible, my voice is not great, my voice is not good. You want to tell him, yeah, knock it off. Knock it off. What are you trying to ruin your career? If you hear the song This Night, that's an amazing song, amazing vocals. Also, the high note on An Innocent Man, the actual single. Those are good vocals. You know, stop getting up there and crapping on yourself. But he's got that. It's a psychological thing, you know. I think he feels that if he craps on himself, then the critics won't crap as much on him. Appeasement. What's this? All right. Yeah, there was a time in my youth where I really enjoyed the songs of Billy Joel. Now, and I've said this before, I enjoy them, but not like back then. Back then I was a fanatic. I was into him, you know, I mean, it's hard to describe, but it was like an addiction on steroids. Anything about him, it just gave me a feeling like, oh, Billy Joel, somebody mentioned the name, or I saw something on TV, or my eyes would scan on a newspaper or something, and instantly would catch anything with Billy Joel, would catch up, you know, and I'd read it. And if they ever say anything about him, you know, like on the news, we got information about the next Billy Joel album, I was there, and it would make my month. I would keep rethinking that stuff. But now, no, not so much. I mean, I saw him last year. Good concert. Saw him in Vegas. Had good tickets. Close. All right. Pretty hot. Let it cool down a little bit. All right, so I have something here that came in the mail 10 minutes ago. I think it's an album. I'm not sure which one. Oh yes. Oh yeah, good stuff. I love this album. I love this musician. I'm a huge fan of Tom Waits. Huge fan. This is the newly remastered, well, it says newly, this could be a while ago. The sticker was new when they put it on the album. But this was such a great, this is such a great album. Tom Waits, Mule Variations, newly remastered with Waits and Brennan, that's his wife. What's going on here with the texts? I've said this story, but I kind of found out about him by accident. Had no idea who Tom Waits was. This is going back to like 1990. And in those days, I would go to Tower Records. That was one of my pit stops. Once a week, I'd go to Tower Records. And I'd explore the whole thing. I'd see what was new. And this thing is typing away. I'm talking and the texting is typing away. So anyway, I was at Tower Records that particular day. I'm walking around, checking out the new music, looking at the magazines, Billboard and all that. And I would spend about an hour, hour and a half a week at Tower Records, looking, listening, you know, all kind of stuff there. And on the loudspeakers was, I think, The Bone Machine. I think it was that album that was playing. Pretty sure. I'd have to look back to see, because I know exactly what song it was. And I stopped and I was like it spoke to me, you know. It kind of like is one of those things when you hear it, you know it's for you, because you're going to like it. And anyway, so I went to the counter, which I would never do unless I was buying something. And there was a guy there, looked like a hippie. And I said to him, I just pointed up, I go, who's that? And he points, and on the table were cassettes of Tom Waits. And I said, I got to get that. I can't let this music slip by. And I've been a fan ever since. I wish I could go see him live, but he doesn't tour anymore. I don't know what he's doing. And I heard that he's working on a new album. So when this came out, I go, is it going to be any good? Or, you know, a lot of times when artists, musicians get up there in age, they lose the hunger, and they don't write the good stuff anymore. It's almost like it's all filler. Oh man, that hits the spot. That's good tea. But when I heard this, I was surprised how good it was. The first song I heard, first song they released, was Big in Japan. I love that song, Big in Japan. You get some good, powerful speakers. Crank it up and listen to Big in Japan. And then Hold On, good tune. Get Behind the Mule, another good tune. The House Where Nobody Lives, such a sad song, and you could feel the emotion in that. The House Where Nobody Lives, what a lonely, lonely song that is. Cold Water, Pony, and then my favorite, What's He Building in There? Now that's not really a singing song, that's almost like a narration, but it is so cool. I mean, when I first heard that, I was like blown away. What's he building in there? What the hell is he building in there? And then, you know, I mean, they're all great songs, but the ones that for me really stood out, Come On Up to the House. Come on up to the house. Says there's a line in there, get down from the cross, we can use the wood. Come on up to the house. But this is, you know, probably my favorite. I mean, you know, there's a lot of, it's hard to say my favorite because I love all his stuff. But this one really, you know, I remember one time, it's a funny story, but I was at home, my parents' house. I was a lot younger, and I was painting. They wanted me to paint the stairwell going up from the front door all the way up to the second floor. So I was painting it, but I had Tom Waits in my radio cranked up. Not loud, but probably around a 5 or a 6. And every once in a while my mother would pass by. And at one point she said to me, "Who's this guy you're listening to? It sounds like they're grabbing him by the throat, choking him." I go, "Yeah, that's what it sounds like, but he's singing." So, yeah, but he's very talented. Like, talented is a small word for him. He's beyond that. You should see, you know, a lot of the songs that were on his albums were done by other musicians and became hits for them. Downtown Train, Rod Stewart. His career was going down the tubes, needed a hit, and I think it was like his manager or somebody, he said, "Well, why don't you listen to this Tom Waits song?" And he goes, "I think if you sing it, it'll become a hit," and it did. I'm in Love with a Jersey Girl. Great song. More Than Rain. Lucky Day. Yeah, there's so many good tunes. Wow, this tea is amazing. Starting to get dark out. Another day. We're time travelers. We're just going through the motions and on the wave of time. I feel like making more tea. Yeah, I've always liked tea. When I was younger, I went to Greece, and somebody said, "Yeah, you gonna make something to eat?" This was morning time, and I said, "I don't know what." They said, "Why don't you make a little bit of tea and feta cheese and bread?" And the bread was straight from the bakery, and so I made the tea, Lipton tea, and I had feta cheese, nice, delicious barrel feta cheese, not fettuccine, feta cheese. And I ate that, and it was so delicious. And I sat in the back looking at a mountain while I was eating this stuff, and it made it taste even better because of the atmosphere. Yeah, I'm gonna make more. There was a place in Disneyland that we would go to. It was like a hotel, and on the bottom floor they had a restaurant, and it had tea time. You'd make reservations, and then they would bring you a pot, and you would pour your tea, and it had different, you know, it had black tea, had green tea, oolong, all of them. And you would pick what you wanted, and then they had dessert trays. So you would order a bunch of sweets. Some of them were even like little tiny sandwiches, little teeny weeny sandwiches, and you'd sit there with your family and enjoy this. And I loved it, but I think they closed that down. I'm a tea guy, and I love the whole British experience with the tea. You know, they have like a special time during the day, like, I don't know, 4, and then all of a sudden the butler will bring out a tray with like teacups and a kettle, and then you'll sit there. So women do this more than men, obviously, the style I'm talking about, and you'll sit there with your friends, maybe one friend, maybe 2, and you'll be discussing different things. Maybe you'll be discussing that you recently saw the movie The Commitments. I love that movie, The Commitments. Yeah, but I love that whole experience. And Indian people, they have a tea custom too. Indian people drink tea all day. I use some very nice Indian people, and they would make tea, but their tea is made with purely milk. So you'll fill this halfway up with milk, and then you'll put all the stuff in there, you know, cardamom, I don't know what else they put. They put a lot of stuff in there. They put the tea itself, and then it starts to rise. That means it's done. And they pour everybody some, and then it creates a skin on top. They'll pull it out and throw the skin out. And then you'll sip it and enjoy the company. So I'm a big fan of tea, all types of tea. If I went to China, I would drink tea with the emperor. Went to India, I'd go to the Taj Mahal and have a little bit of tea. If I went to England, I would go to Liverpool and have tea with Paul McCartney. You know, yeah, in my house, the only time they had tea was when they were sick. You know, I had tea all the time, but if I ever said to my mother or my father, my mother mainly though, if I said to her, you want some tea, I'm making tea. She's like, yeah, I don't want any tea, I'm not sick. I'm like, you don't have to be sick to have tea. Who told you that? That's it for now. Ciao.